Hello, class, and welcome to CNG 124-500 Monday. We're jumping into a new week. I believe it's week 13. Yep, week 13. And this week we start to look at IPv6 and see what IPv6 is actually entails. We're covering a chapter that we started to read. We're going to finish chapter 6. Um, what IPv6 is it can be a Microsoft kind of protocol that makes it up, or in some cases, it can be um, a version of your MAC address. Um, so make sure you do definitely look at each version and know how to tell the difference in the versions, um, because we will go through that um, in one of your labs. Real quick, I've been given a lot of feedback on labs. Um, Thanks, Paula, for letting me use your homework. This is Paula Pierce, Lab 15, and as you see, um, looking at it, I know the address of each network. So here's the network address here, and of course, network address at top, and then her IPs. So say if, here's what I do when I grade them. I'll just show you guys how I grade them. I go to desktop, ping command, and I go ping 201, 201.3.1.10. And since I just started the lab up, I hit the fast forward button. Okay, and it went through. So then I'll do it to the other side on a ping across. Um, when I'm grading, I usually know that most of the time your PCs are going to be either 10 or 100. I've been giving you feedback on those. If I can't reach it, I kind of start poking around your routers to see what kind of configuration you have. Um, the first thing I check is your static route there. I can see your static routes here, and it's leaving out of serial 000, going to network 10. So it's leaving out of this serial interface here, which should be 000. If I were just to hover over it, you can see that serial 000 is 201.322. And then it should go over to the other side. Oops. Should go to the other side, which the network is going to be, it wants to access is 310. So it's going to leave this serial here, go over here, looking for 310. Easy to figure out. If she had a problem, I would just start to read the topology and kind of look for the problem there. Now, when there is nothing on the topology, no numbers, no network addresses, when these are missing it, and I get the lab submitted that's incomplete and says, yeah, I had a problem with this. Well, then I'm like, okay, I have to open up this guy, see what the config is. Then as soon as I click on this one over here, it disappears. So that it's kind of a design flaw in their system, but it's much harder, much more difficult to troubleshoot on my end when I'm trying to figure the problem out. So definitely follow this example here. It's gonna, trust me, it's gonna take more time, but this week you saw the skills final review. This is preparation for the final. At this point, you should be having how to build a packet tracer network and how to flow through that packet tracer network pretty quick and get everything set up. And that's what the review is going to be about. We can even open it up. Your skills final is going to be very, very similar to these and to what you've been doing already for a couple weeks now. So you should have this down. You've seen this before. Same exact, well, I shouldn't say same exact. Almost the exact same things that we have been doing with a little bit of instruction. this is probably one of the better looking ones that stayed formatted actually. Um, you know, look at the tops, read the top. Once again, don't get complacent with um, your table columns. Read what they're supposed to be and put the appropriate information in there. It's going to help you transfer everything to a packet tracer file. Know how to build. If you can't build a packet tracer from file from scratch, jump into, I think it was Lab 16. Um, you know, uh, or I should say around week 16. Was that week 10? I think it was week 10. Um, Figure out how to build this network from scratch so you know what routers to pick, what cables to pick, without using something old, because you're going to be on your final and you want no mistakes at that point. You want this to go as smooth as possible. Once again, documenting, writing on your topology. Lab 16, um, step 2D stated, write your topology out. That's not for me. Well, that's a little bit for me, but that's mostly for your benefit. Um, as soon as if there's a problem, you can kind of start to look at your networks and say, okay, um, this IP right here, this third octet should be a 2 since this one over here is a 2. They're in the same network. It's really going to help you step up your troubleshooting to the next game, and hopefully even if you're having trouble with any sort of thing on your network, you're going to say, oh, that's where I made my mistake, and get that done. Get that sorted out. No, I don't want to save it. What else do we have this week? Application layer lab. I don't recall everything about the lab offhand. Okay, we're looking for DHCP, and we're gonna track it through Wireshark. Basically, we're doing a DORA, discover, offer, request, acknowledge. We can kind of see it here. Happens with any device. Remember that the physical address never changes. The flat address, the MAC address never changes, but our IP address will change depending on what network we're connected to. So this is a great one because you can kind of see in action what happens as you plug in your laptop to the network. And basically, we're just not really plugging it in and unplugging it. We're using release and a renew in these combinations, which is very close to it. But yeah, pretty cool stuff here. And then, of course, the Lab 24. What was Lab 23? VLSM again. I believe that one just written out. With VLSM, make sure you're counting your networks, verify your networks, and once again, the formatting is just a little off. But sit there and count, each network. If you have to circle it and pretend you're going to enter it into a packet tracer, just sit there and circle each network. Yeah, I'll try to do a better job at resending these up, but usually when I upload the document to D2L, I don't know what happens, but everything goes crazy up there. I don't know why. But sit there and well, the biggest errors, counting networks. When I start to grade these, the first thing I look at is your network addresses. I say, do they're all even? In the available range, they start all odd. Do they end all even? And are all your broadcasts odd? I'm going to start to say, okay, so she said, or they said, that this is a /25, so I should at least be on 128 right here. Yep, that's correct. Then I look over here and then add again, and look over here and add again, and that's how I end up grading these VLSM papers for that. At this point, we're getting close to winding up the semester. Week 14, we have just a little bit of work to do. No readings from Netacad. We do have another lab to do, but in week 14 and 15, You should be finalizing your Kaplans. You should be doing non-stop packet tracer rehearsal. And when I say non-stop is, go back through the labs, go through back to lab 15, run through it again, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or well, whatever the packet tracer ones are. Run through all those again so you know how to do it. You're preparing for the final exam. I should say there's two final exams. The skills final exam, where there's a test two, a part A and a part B. Um, you're allowed 1 hour on each exam. You don't get B until you turn in A. And then the final exam, once again, I forget the allotted time on this. I have to double check that. Um, but the final exam is just a set of questions that you just answer. Once again, you're taking week 14, week 15, prepping for this, um, getting ready for this, and then once you have your Kaplan at a successful part, go ahead and turn your Kaplan down here at the bottom where it says Kaplan submissions. And remember, Kaplan is going to adjust your score for your exams only. So we had 3 exams, 1, 2, and 3. Um, and that Kaplan will adjust those scores here, um, giving you, remember, 70% or better gets these exam scores moved to 100%. It's going to take time, so if you haven't been practicing it, you're definitely going to be crunching time for that. I don't want you guys to forget too, there are certifications at the Larimer campus, but it's not open now. But keep this in your mind. If you do have another class with me, I'll remind you next semester, which is summer, to take be on the lookout for MTAs again, even in the fall when they reopen. But basically, this is a certification, a Microsoft certification for networking fundamentals that basically shows whoever your job person is that not only did you learn Network One, but you also applied it to a certification called the MTA, the Microsoft Technology Associate Networking Fundamentals. And you use that as leverage to get the job, showing employers that, hey, look, I just didn't go to school. I actually applied my knowledge and got that certification. I'll end this long video here today, but good job. I'll definitely try to get to the grading um, early this week. I know I have a few things to do that are important this week, but I'll definitely try to get them done by Wednesday.